Hi, this is Nikki Woods, and we are going beyond the studio on the Tom Joyner Morning Show at BlackAmericaWeb.com with a woman who has built a business on getting radical. But I love it that she not only helps in your professional life, but also in your personal life. We are talking to Doreen Rainey, who is the CEO and founder of the Radical Success Institute, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I love it. We've got a school and also a big event coming up, a big conference. So I want to talk about that. But first, tell me about getting radical, because sometimes, when people say get radical, it's not always in a good way. So tell me how you've come upon that concept and how you're changing that for people.
Yes, I think that the word radical has gotten a bad rap over the years. And what it means is to be unprecedented, to be extreme. And when I talk about getting radical, what I'm encouraging people to do is, first of all, define success for themselves. And so many times we have our culture, our society, the media, they want to tell us what success looks like. And the reality is we have to be true and authentic to ourselves and take a step back and say, what does my life look like for me? My career, my business, what do I want my relationships to be like? How do I want to live with my finances? And so the first part of creating radical success is to, first of all, define what it looks like for you. And then secondly, once you do that, now comes the hard part, because you have to have the guts to go after it.
Right.
As many times what we want authentically for us, we may not be on that path right now. And so we have to make changes and shifts in the things that we do, in the way that we think, maybe even in the people that we hang around. And so radical for me is to define success for yourself and then have the guts to go after it.
And I think it's interesting that you said that sometimes we have to change things around ourselves, because I think that's the last thing that people sometimes expect when it comes to success, that you may have to change who you hang out with, or, the kinds of things you watch on TV and what you feed your mind with. How do you help people deal with that transition to the change?
Right. So the first step is to get that clarity, to really be able to authentically define what you want. Sometimes we have people who have goals and they can't seem to get there, and what they realize is it's not what they really want. And so we get clarity first,
right,
to decide what that looks like. And then the next step is that we give them information, because so many times we are not equipped to go to the next step. We need some tools, some strategies, some resources, some real tangible information. And so whether that's a course or whether that's coaching, whether that's a formal piece of education, you have to become equipped. And then you have to surround yourself with a support system and an accountability system that keeps you moving forward in action.
Now, I know you mentioned coaching, and it's interesting to me because I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. I am an entrepreneur, and I think the biggest shock to me was sometimes being in business for yourself is more of an inside job than, than an outside job. I thought I'd have to learn like business management and accounting, and I had to figure out how to get past my own mental blocks. What are some of the biggest barriers you think that people come up against when it comes to success?
Well, I think fear rears its ugly head in many different ways. There are people who have actually a fear of success. Oh my gosh, what if I get everything I want? And then we have those that have a fear of failure. And either way, you're paralyzed. And you're trying to figure out why it's not happening, why you're not moving forward, but you're in self-sabotage mode. And so we have to look at, what conversation have you been telling yourself that you didn't even realize you were having until you started to,
right.
I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, they won't buy from me. What do I know about this? I'm new to the game. And so we have to learn to manage those conversations so that we can then accelerate our success in our business.
And how do we do that? How do we learn to manage those conversations?
So the first thing is you have to acknowledge that you have them. And once you acknowledge that you have them, you begin to ask yourself, is that true? So if you say, I'm not smart enough, is that true? Is that really true? And if you think it's true, what can you do to elevate your smartness? Take a class, get a course, get a coach. If it's not true, then you need to change what you're telling yourself and begin to say, I am smart enough. Affirmations alone don't work, but affirmations are a part of the process. And so to begin to tell yourself, I am smart enough, I am capable. And then if some of those things are true, maybe you're not good at money management. Find someone who can help you with money management. The key is to take proactive action towards it.
Absolutely. So share the power of support and accountability. I mean, I think that's another big lesson that I've learned entering this world, that it is a community and there are people available to help. But I think another fear that people have is asking for that. But you broker the power of support and accountability. So how do you do that through your Get Radical Success coaching?
Well, one of the things I've learned the hard way is that you cannot do it alone. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. You and your computer and your phone and your numbers and your product cannot do it.
Right.
So you have to have a community. And that community is there to educate you, to support you, to encourage you. And sometimes I hear people say, I just don't have anybody who supports me. You know, my family doesn't support me. I don't have friends. They don't think like me. And while that may be true, the responsibility to go out and find a community that can do that for you is your responsibility. And so where are those people who think like you, who talk like you, that you want to connect with, whether it's networking groups, whether it's mastermind groups, whether it's events or monthly luncheons? That's the place where you can go and find that support and accountability to hold you to the fire for what you said you wanted. You know, one of the things I always tell my clients is, this is about what you said.
Right. Not what I want. What you said you wanted, right.
What you said.
That's funny. That's funny. So tell me a little bit about the Get Radical conference, because that's coming up on March 21st. And I know Laila Ali is going to be one of the keynotes along with yourself and a ton of fabulous folks. But tell me what people are going to get out of that 3-day conference.
Well, this event is a total transforming experience, and we create an environment where you can be immersed in all of the things we just talked about, the education, the community, the networking, and it's a place where you can come and you can say, okay, I'm ready, and I call it the starting point. We're going to equip you to go back out into the world and make something happen. It's an action-based conference, and we have keynotes from Laila Ali, who you mentioned, who's going to be talking about what it means to be a champion, the discipline it takes to get things done.
I love that.
Yes, she's an entrepreneur, she's a mom, and she's managing all these hats, and so she's going to be sharing how to do that. And then Lori Grenier, who's from Shark Tank and a serial entrepreneur as well. Anyone who can take one product that holds earrings and turn it into a $500 million business probably knows something about
something.
And we have Tanisha Jackson Warner, who's going to be there, and just sharing the commitment and the tenacity to create success. And it's an action-based conference, so you're going to lead with your own action plan to get out there and make your specific goals happen.
That is awesome. Doreen, how can they get more information about the conference?
They can go to getradicalconference.com, and you can get all the details about the keynotes, our breakout sessions for entrepreneurs and personal development, as well as all the information you need about hotel and travel and that kind of info.
All right, that is awesome. Get Radical. I love the concept, and I love what you're doing. I appreciate you for taking the time out to talk to us about it.
It is having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's Miss Doreen Rainey, and she is your Get Radical success coach. Much success to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.